Hi, welcome to Kids Club. We have a very important thing to talk about today. But first, I want to make sure that we go over what we talked about last time, because that'll help us with our conversation today. So last time, we practiced identifying what safety means to us with our 5 senses. Remember, we talked about what we see, smell, taste, hear, and touch, and how listening to our body's senses can let us know when something feels wrong, when we don't feel safe. We talked about how our body feels when we aren't safe and recognizing how that feels. We also talked about your spidey sense, and that's another term for your instinct or gut feeling. That feeling that lets you know when something isn't safe. Even if you can't really see something dangerous or upsetting, your brain has that spidey sense that goes, oh, something is wrong. So we know how to recognize when we don't feel safe, but then what do you do after that? When you know you don't feel safe, what can you do? One thing we'll talk about today is thinking about your home and what things, places, activities in your home help you feel safe. So my safe home, you'll see that we have a picture of a house over here with numbers. This is a little activity that will start in this video, and you can finish it when you're done watching. So for this activity, you can draw a house or have someone help you draw it if you want to, and divide it into 3 sections. Now I've done mine like this: the roof as 1, the middle as 2, the bottom as 3, but you can divide it however you want. You can make a diagonal house if you want to. And in the first section, or in one of the sections, you'll draw or write about an activity that makes you feel safe. And remember, these are going to be different for each person. So maybe what makes a friend or another person in your family feel safe doesn't help you, and that's okay. So try to think about something you can do that helps you feel calmer or helps you feel more secure, or it takes your mind off something that's upsetting. Maybe you like to draw when you're feeling upset or unsafe. Maybe you're someone who needs to be really physical when you feel unsafe and you need to run around, or you need to be active in some other way, whether that means you can go in the backyard and play with a soccer ball or something physical. Maybe that's what helps. Number 2 is a person or pet or toy that makes you feel safe. So you can think about, is there another person in your home that's comforting when you are having these unsafe or stressed feelings? Maybe an older or younger sibling that understands why you might be stressed and can help comfort you. Or a pet. Pets are usually really great with helping us feel calmer when we're upset. But if you don't have a person or a pet that you feel comfortable with when you're not feeling safe, think about a toy or a stuffed animal, some imaginary friend that you can talk to and hold and just have with you when you're feeling these things. And number 3 is a room or a place in your home that makes you feel safe. So something is happening in your home. Where do you usually go, or what place do you go that helps make you feel more secure, or that you're away from whatever is happening that's making you feel upset? If you have your own room or a room that you share with a person that makes you feel safe, maybe that could be an option. It doesn't have to be an entire room either. Maybe there's just a place in the house that makes you feel better. Maybe sitting at the top of the stairs makes you feel like you're high up and you're safe, and you can sit on the stair step, and that's comforting. Or maybe there's a chair that is set up against the wall, and there's a nice little space behind the chair that feels really secret and private. Maybe that's a place that makes you feel safe. It doesn't have to be an entire room. To give you some ideas, I made my own. I wanted to share that with you all. And remember, each person is different. So these are things that help me feel safe, and they might not for you, and that's okay. An activity that makes me feel safe is listening to music. So I've drawn myself up here, sitting down. I have my headphones on and the music is jamming. That really helps me feel safe. A person or pet or toy that makes me feel safe is my cat. My cat is a great source of comfort for me, and he doesn't really like to be picked up, but just having him in the same space with me, or petting him or playing with him, can help me feel better. And the place in my home that makes me feel safe might seem kind of silly, but it really helps me. I like to go on my living room floor and get under a blanket. And it doesn't matter if it's in the winter or right now in the summer when it's 90 degrees. I will sweat it out because this really helps me feel better if I'm really stressed or feeling unsafe. So see here, I'm lying on the floor, very relaxed. I've got my blanket draped all the way over me. Something about laying on the floor makes me feel better. So remember, you don't have to worry about finishing this right now. This was just a chance for us to talk about what this activity does and give you a chance to think about your own ideas for what helps you feel safe. What we're going to talk about now is something called a safety plan. So a safety plan is when you think ahead and you try to think how you could help yourself feel safe and what things you would need to do so that you have a chance to practice them, or maybe have them written down and go to them when you do get to a situation that isn't safe. So you're preparing just in case something happens. And when we talk about a safety plan, these are steps for increasing our safety, making us safer. This plan will help you know what to do, where to go, and how to get help. And this is something that you can work on with your parent or trusted adult. And again, this is something that you probably won't be able to finish just watching through the video, but you could always come back to this video to look at the different questions and come up with ideas. And also maybe all of the questions that we talk about, maybe there's some that don't work for you and that won't go in your safety plan, and that's okay. This just gives you some ideas of things that you can think ahead about to help you feel safer when something happens. And also, we just want to remember that I have the right to be safe. The violence is not my fault. My job is to keep myself safe. Remember when we talked about responsibility and what your responsibilities are as a kid versus what adults' responsibilities are? Your job is to keep yourself safe. I do not need to stop the fighting or violence. This safety plan may not always work, and that is not my fault. These are some things that you can just remind yourself of. Remember, you have the right to be safe. It's not your job to stop the fighting or solve adults' problems. Your only job is to keep yourself safe. And it's okay to talk about what's happening with other trusted adults. So these are just some ideas for what might go into your safety plan. First, a thing to identify is when you might need to use this. So you can think about when you'll need to use your safety plan. Is that when a parent does a certain thing or says certain words? Maybe when you know a parent slams the door, that there's going to be an argument or something that makes you feel unsafe. So that's when you need to get out your safety plan. Or if you have it memorized, you can think, okay, this is when I need to use my safety plan. And like we were talking about earlier with the safe home drawing, try to think of a place in the home you can go if you're scared. A place that makes you feel safe. You can also think about a place where you should not go if you're scared. Maybe there's a room in the house where arguing usually happens, and you know you shouldn't go there because you're likely to be in the argument instead of in a safe place. Or there might be a room in the house that has tools or maybe dangerous things that you don't necessarily want to be around when someone is angry. You can think about when you might need to call 911. Again, it's similar to this first question, thinking about what happens that lets you know that there's likely going to be something that makes you feel unsafe happening in the home. And if you can talk to a parent or trusted adult beforehand and talk about the different times that it's good to call 911 when certain things happen, then you can talk to your adult about that and decide when is a good time to call 911 for help to make you feel safer. You can also practice what to tell 911 when you call them. Especially when we get really upset, sometimes it can be hard to think in the moment and know what we need to say. But if you practice or are able to write it down beforehand, that can help. It can help you remember what you're supposed to say. So you can practice your address, your name, other information that you might need to tell 911 if you call them. Maybe you have a plan for leaving home if something happens. Maybe there's a neighbor or family nearby. You can leave the home and go to their house instead if something gets really dangerous. And you can also plan for how to leave your house if this is something that you need to do. Maybe you can't go through the front door if you get to this point. So maybe there's a back door or a window that's close enough to the ground that it's okay to crawl out of. And again, this is something you would talk to your parent or trusted adult about to try to come up with the best, safest plan. If you've ever done a fire drill or a tornado drill in school or with your family, this is the same kind of process. You're just coming up with a plan before the dangerous thing happens so that you know what to do in the moment. And if you have to leave your home, maybe you can think of a safe place to go. Like I mentioned earlier, maybe a friend or a close family member's home. Maybe part of your plan is that if there is an emergency, someone else will come and take you from the house. And you could come up with a code word or phrase so that person can say that to you and you know that it's okay to go with them. Because it can be scary if you're already upset in a scary situation and this person comes to the home, you want to be sure that it's okay to go with them. So you can maybe have this person come and get you if there's an emergency and have a special word or phrase they tell you to let you know that it's okay to go with them and that you should go with them now because there is an emergency. You can also talk with your parent or trusted adult about which people are allowed to pick you up from school or daycare or any other places that you might go that aren't your home. Just so you know that, okay, this person picks me up on Tuesdays. If they come to pick me up on Wednesday, they shouldn't be doing that. So I should call my parent. Just making sure that you know who is supposed to be picking you up when, so that if someone tries to pick you up on a day that you're not expecting them to, you can call someone and ask if it's okay. Another part of a safety plan can be talking about what other people in your life can be safe, can offer you safety when you're feeling upset or in a dangerous situation. And you don't have to have 5 people. That's just a number that gives you a lot of options. But if you just have 1 or 2 people, that works too. You know, even just having 1 other person that you can go to in an emergency can make a big difference. So you can talk to your parent or trusted adult about who some safe people might be and how you can get a hold of them. Maybe it's a phone number or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's an app through your phone or some other way to contact them. Now we're going to say something together. Are you ready? I will practice my safety plan with my safe parent or trusted adult and siblings. I will make sure the right people know about what is going on in my life. Just like a fire drill, preparing your safety plan is part of the work. And then if you can, being able to practice it is also really important. Practicing how to get out of the house, what happens if another person does take you out of the home in an emergency. Practice using the phone if you need to call 911 or call one of these other safe people. And remember, it's okay to tell trusted adults in your life what's going on. If they can be there to help you feel safer, then that's a good thing. I know we talked about a lot today, so there might be quite a bit of things you can do to follow up after this video. one of the first things you can do is complete your My Safe Home drawing. You can also talk to your parent or trusted adult about what you've come up with and what helps you feel safe so that they know. So maybe you came up with an idea that when you're feeling unsafe, what's helpful for you is to go in the backyard and play on the swing. And maybe if you let your parent know that, and they know that there's going to be an argument or something that's going to make you feel unsafe, they can help out and say, hey, I think that it would be a good idea for you to go outside and go on the swing right now. I don't want you to be inside the house for this argument. So that's maybe something that can be part of your safety plan too, is talking to your parent about what helps you feel safe in the home when something is happening. And with your safe parent or trusted adult, come up with your own safety plan. You can use some of the questions that we went through in this video, or come up with your own. And if possible, if it's safe and okay to keep that safety plan somewhere you can look at it if you need to, or at least if it's safe for you to have that contact information, the phone numbers or way to get in touch with those safe people on your list. Maybe you and your parent or trusted adult come up with a place where it's safe to keep that information so that you can get to it if you are in a situation that feels unsafe. And practice. Practice always helps us get these things written into our brain so that when the time comes, we can do them with confidence. So if you can, practice parts of that plan too. Next week, we are going to have a talk about fear and anxiety. Big talk. We'll talk about why do we feel afraid or anxious, and what can we do to conquer our fears. And remember, if you want to share a drawing or activity you did, or if you have a question, you can always email our email address here, nbkidsclubonline@gmail.com. And this is the link to our YouTube channel, NB Kids Club, where we have all these videos available to watch with captions. And for any adults watching, this is just some information about New Beginnings and what kind of services we offer. We have a 24-hour helpline, 206-522-9472. You're welcome to call us anytime. It's open 24/7. And this is a list of some of the services a trained advocate can offer when you call that number. Thank you so much for being here with me and talking about safety and all the things we can do to help us be and feel safer. And I might take a break and go lay on the floor under a blanket. I hope that you find something comforting to do for yourself today too.